Your cadaverous pallor betrays an aura of foreboding.
And welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be exploring the Dollar Tree. And I can't help but hope that the inside is not as horrific as the parking lot. Now let me start this video by acknowledging that sometimes my constructive criticism of these stores might come off as a little bit negative, but despite how horrible the Dollar Tree looks, I love this store. There's always something that we can find that is going to be an excellent addition to our Halloween displays. Now I have to admit, I probably haven't been in a Dollar Tree since last Halloween, so I'm not sure if all Dollar Trees are now the Dollar Tree Pluses or not, but obviously the stuff that we're looking at right now, as you can see on that price tag on that pumpkin, this is the $5 section, or the $3 to $5 section, I should say. Everything in the Dollar Tree is not really a dollar, of course, $1.25 now and up. But some of this merchandise is good. I mean, this is a great place to get the inexpensive merchandise for our displays. And I'm actually seeing a lot of stuff that I've purchased in previous years, like that little pumpkin candle. I bought a bunch of those to make centerpieces last year. And I always buy lots of lenticulars from here, not the more expensive ones like that, but I bought some of those too, the little skulls being held up by the skeleton hands. Not really sure why that makes a cat meowing sound. None of those doorbell things are cats. But anyway, that skull on the hands actually made a nice centerpiece in my vampire display a couple of years ago. Looks like they have a couple of different tray options, so I think I prefer this one. It's got the skull motif going on. That's kind of cool. A lot of people, of course, love those trucks with something in the back. That one seems to have a skull and was that a spider also? Over the years, I have bought so many fake flowers from the Dollar Tree, making these sort of centerpieces. This one was an interesting idea, but like those teeth are falling out of it. But that sort of like man-eating plant's kind of cool. And then, of course, the eyeballs in the flower there. They actually have some inflatables here, $5 inflatables. They are only 4 feet tall. Now that I'm thinking about it, I did actually buy one of those a few years back, a little black cat one, I think, that I put in my display. The unfortunate part about those is that they had battery-operated fans. They're not actually plug-in. So what I did is I took a different... Oh, look at this. Happy Haunting Shop. Tricks and treats. Anyway, I took a corded fan. I actually bought this cauldron as well a couple of years ago, and I never used it, but it's going in my display of my witches this year, so I'm excited about that. But anyway, I will finish the story. I took the corded fan from a different small inflatable that I didn't like, and I put it in the cat, and it worked just fine. So there are ways around that, and I think you can buy cheap inflatable fans online if you're interested. All right, got some tablecloth options here. It looked like that was some fortune teller themes, and we've got some cheap gnomes. So, not my thing, but they must be the thing for a whole lot of somebodies because, my goodness, they are everywhere. So, moving on, we've got some hanging decor and lots of... Unfortunately, this store was not very well organized, as evidenced by those outside images. What does that even say? I can't even tell. Is it Magic Happens? I will say, I think this whole $5-ish section was a lot more extensive last year. We're coming upon these lanterns. I bought several of those in the past as well for various displays, but those designs were a little bit different, looked pretty interesting. Oh, I forgot, we got a little bit of fall merchandise here. We're not going to take a look at most of it, but there were a few Halloween-ish items that I wanted to point out. Of course, we have the velvet pumpkins. You know how I feel about those. And speaking of feeling, I did touch them because I always have to verify, is that really velvet? But it's a very hard pumpkin. I'm not sure what they fill that with, but you're definitely not going to want to throw that on the sofa if that's what you do with velvet pumpkins. I have no idea. You'll never find one in my display. All right, but we're getting back into the regular section of the Dollar Tree now. Of course, they have lots of craft merchandise. I love that little skull and bones there. It was very artistic, let's say. Speaking of artists, I'm kind of curious as to who buys these sort of crafts. They look like they could be fun doing something with, but are they really? I'm curious to know. If you've done it, let me know. How do they turn out? I do like the wreath hangers. So we've got some weird eyeballs, and was that a witch? And of course, everybody buys these sort of wall decor little signs. I must say I've bought my fair share of them in the past too. This sort of 3D puzzle thing looks fun to put together, but I'm just now realizing that's probably not Halloween. These crafty items just keep going and going, so we've got more options. We've got some stickers there, and lots of these sort of wood. I don't know what you do with those. I guess you paint them. I'm actually trying to do a lot more crafty Halloween projects, especially throughout the year leading up to Halloween. If you've been watching my channel for any sort of time now, you'll have seen I've done a number of different sort of crafty projects just to keep my mind busy and in the Halloween spirit all year round. In fact, I really started getting into those diamond painting projects, which I'm kind of surprised we don't see here. I mean, maybe they had some elsewhere in the store, but I doubt it. And they're certainly not here in the Halloween section, but you can buy them for cheap on Amazon, and I just love them. They take hours and hours and hours to do, but it keeps you really entertained. And the ones I buy from Amazon are really cheap. They're in that $5 price range, so it certainly seems doable for the Dollar Tree. But anyway, back to the merchandise that they do have. Again, more of these little signs. So I guess they said they sell the little sign ones in groups of 2, but we will see the larger ones here in a minute. There are a couple of little Christmas trees there, I guess Halloween seasonal trees. I've done my fair share of those too as well. We've turned some Christmas trees into Halloween trees. Check out my old videos if you want to take a look at those. Love the eyeballs. I have so many of those. And actually that little table runner there, that lace, I bought that and tried it out today. It's $1.25 for like a 6-foot table runner of a spiderweb pattern. That was a bargain. And I really love the fact that they have different colored skulls this year. So it looked like there was a whitish one. It's almost like glow in the dark, but that iridescent one is kind of fun. And I think in a minute we'll come upon some more that are not the sort of creamy beige color that they have been for so many years, but looks a little bit more bone colored, which I'm excited about. I must have purchased at least 100 of those skulls over the years. In fact, I just pulled them out of my storage closet the other day. I've got a lot I've already put out for the year. I like to put them inside my witch cauldrons as opposed to something else. You know, I've put before like Christmas tree ornaments to make it look like bubbles and whatnot, but I think just a simple couple of skulls in them to fill it out makes it even more spooky. All right, we've got these little tinsel products, not really a fan of those, or these skulls. So I bought the black one. So we got green, the black one. I bought those in the past as well. I have a habit of always painting my skulls, but it was just so much easier to buy one that was already black, which is what I wanted. I threw a couple of sequins in the eyes to make them shine, and I thought it was a fantastic little DIY. I also have buckets of those spiders. Those are a fantastic bargain as well. They're so creepy. I put them everywhere. I have some of these mice as well. I think that's one of the best bargains you're going to find at the Dollar Tree. Because only $1. Buy $10 worth. Put them all over the place. It's going to look super creepy in your display. I have to admit, not a huge fan of those tinsel products, but this I think is the worst thing I've seen in the store so far. Maybe altogether. Fake white plastic bone. I am way too old for those little light up things that make the noise like that. I can't stand those. But I do love that they've got the signage. So we've got a little taste of it there. We're going to come upon a bunch more here in a minute. Those skeleton arms look incredibly fake, which is so disappointing because they have other options here in a moment. Like this one. Look, you have a realistic looking, well, it's kind of small, right? Very thin, but it looks a lot more like real bone. That was a nice product. Of course, we have our little pumpkins, and what was that, a hippo, of course? The glare on this is bad. I know it's hard to see, but that was one of those witches. It looks like it has crashed into a tree, so that was nice. I love window films. I put them up all the time. I think it's a great way to make your house look a little creepy from the street. Of course, that all depends on which design you get, but of course you can't go wrong with boarded up windows. I like this version of the little fencing. I mean, it's so small, but that looks a lot nicer than it used to be. Here, I think, are those skulls that I was talking about. They're not that yellowy plastic. It's more of a white, and I think it looks so much better now. I might have to go and replace a bunch that I have in my cauldrons already in my living room. So I bought a bunch of these keep out signs too. So this is great. My yard has a lot of different walkways. So when we have parties and whatnot, I like to put those up so people know where not to go, but it won't stop people. I've had people just walk right past it. They don't care. It's mostly kids with tunnel vision. They're going for the candy or going to look at something in the yard, and they don't care. Love the chains too. I've done a lot of those in the past. And then we have lots of little yard signs. So Boo Boulevard, Rip Road, and Cemetery Circle. I remember one year at the entrance to my driveway, I put up like 20 different poles with signs on them. It was like signage overload, but like in an intentional, fun way. I thought it looked really great. Anyway, these signs, I have purchased some of these in the past as well. They do not do well if you don't waterproof them. So you can take some like Thompson's water sealer or whatever and coat it. It'll last a little bit longer, but they're not really meant for being outside. But it'd be a great thing to like pop in a planter or something, like especially if you have a covered porch. I do think once again they've done pretty well with the graphics. I like that little vampire. That skeleton has a nice look. That Day of the Dead, I'm pretty sure I bought when I did my Day of the Dead display a few years ago. Simple, can't go wrong with Happy Halloween. And look at the pumpkin. He looks very dapper with his mustache and bowler hat. This guy kind of reminds me of like a pumpkin mayor. He's mayor of Pumpkin Town. I don't know why. It must be his little suit, but this is my favorite. I absolutely love this little Grim Reaper. It looks very much like the Target merchandise. I think they're taking their cues from their designs. Love these little activity books. Well, I wouldn't say little. That one's like the size of a wall calendar or something. But that sort of stuff is so much fun. It makes me all nostalgic for being a kid at Halloween. That little skeleton finger that was pointing, I love the idea of that. You could set up like a path where the kids or whomever has to follow in a certain direction to go get the trick-or-treats or who knows what. I think we've got a little bit of hodgepodgey merchandise here, so we'll just take a quick peek at that. And then below, looks like we've got the party favors. Do like the chair cover. I believe I purchased a bunch of those one year as well, but I never really liked them on the chairs. I don't think it looks as good in person as you might think from the packaging. But anyway, here we go with the party favors. So I am not really loving how they have just jumbled it all into these big bins this year. I think in the past they've always had it organized on the shelf hooks, which made it so much easier, especially if you're looking for a big group of these items. And I know that because I've bought a lot of this stuff that we're looking at already. I always like to make the treat bags, which I get from here at the Dollar Tree. I think they sell the best treat bags. I think they come in packets of like 20 for $1. So it's great. Of course, they're the little Ziploc bags, but I would fill them with an assortment of candy and some of these things, like pencils and little spiders. And of course, every treat bag always has to have one of those eyeballs in it. Just think that's kind of fun and cute. Kids love it. All right, so we've got a magic shaker, witch's brew, poison. I like the poison one. Again, I like the writing on it too. Love that napkin. So we've got a raven and another poison bottle. Looks like we've got some plates down here. These are a little bit more cutesy. So we've got vampires and a witch and a pumpkin and a ghost, of course. Great for young kids' Halloween parties. I'm a bit too old for that myself now, but they have some interesting plates as well that we'll see again here in a minute. And then Halloween buckets. So sometimes I've used these to make centerpieces, especially when I did my Day of the Dead display and they had some of those. Love this witch's hat, I guess like a platter. I'm actually kind of kicking myself for not getting it. I mean, it looks a little plasticky, but of course fits my witch-themed party food this year perfectly. I actually bought that Mastering Malevolence book too. So those couple of books there, I wasn't too thrilled with the way they looked, but I really love the cover of that Mastering Malevolence, which is why I bought it. But you can really see the cardboard edges on the inside, which kind of gives away the illusion. So from certain angles, doesn't look like a book at all. Love these goblets though. So we've I've seen these for many years now, but they used to look so incredibly plasticky with like purple skeleton hands or whatnot. That one that looks very silver looked pretty nice. Of course, it is very plastic, and I'm a little disappointed. I did not see any. Oh, love that bowl. I didn't see any glassware, like actual glasses here this year. I went specifically to the dish side to look. Nothing. Over the years, I bought so many different like wine glasses and whatnot. Now, I like this fake book. I mean, it looks a lot more fake than the other book, but the pages with those blood splatters and that spider looked a lot nicer. I may have misspoken, so we do have some glasses there. I didn't really check to see if they were plastic merely because I didn't like any of those designs and it didn't occur to me to look. All right, we've got a plastic pumpkin candy jar and whatever these things are. So it looks like some sort of carrying container. I mean, it's kind of cute. Not sure what we would put in there, but maybe it's for your kids' crayons or something, because we have all of these activity books next to them, which admittedly look fantastically fun. Like, for instance, here is some sort of dress-up book. Let's just take a peek inside, see what it looks like. You've got all these stickers that you can put on these activity pages. Look at all those stickers. Wow, that would be fantastic for any kid. I'm actually kind of tempted to give those out instead of well, it would never be instead of candy. It would be in addition to candy. Maybe I will go back and pick some of those up for the kids this year. Love the assortment of books. So the covers are looking so much better this year than in past years. A lot of different variety, even though they do kind of look a little fake. I mean, I bought a few of them. I do have them mixed in with my other sort of harder cover books that you get from like TJ Maxx and Marshalls and whatnot, which admittedly looks so much better. But, these are $1, whereas if you're going to buy those, it's $10. That's why we all love the Dollar Tree. Well, $1.25 tree, right? Looks like they've got some Day of the Dead merchandise here as well, especially a lot of these little signs. Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. I did my Day of the Dead display a few years ago. It was so beautiful. I ended up getting a lot of the stuff from the Dollar Tree, so I do like that they actually have that merchandise. All right, here we go. The sign section, or the wall hanging section, I guess I should call it. Most of them are signs, though, and I'm always so tempted to get so many of these. This is probably the best part of the Dollar Tree. I love this welcome sign. I would probably have purchased half of these so far. Fortune teller, I always do a fortune teller theme as well. But then I think, like, I have so much other stuff. I mean, I just can't keep buying 100 different fortune teller signs. So I look at this little psychic one, love it. I just can't justify getting it when I already have so many others. Of course, we have the witch's legs. I think that was, I don't know, do you hang that on a door? And the garland. Not a huge fan of the garland anymore, but I can't say I've never purchased any of it. In my earlier years, I used to use that as like roping when I didn't want people to walk somewhere. I would rope it off using that garland, which was kind of fun. More signage. I like how they've got the little metal accents in them now. Dollar Tree's getting fancy, which makes me wonder now, were those still $1.25, or are they mixing in the more expensive stuff with the everyday stuff as well? I don't know. Got some door covers. If you watched my last house haunting video, you'll know I love decorating with door covers. I don't just put them on doors. I use them for artwork because they have usually a big image, and then you can make frames for them I use door molding and paint them. Again, check out my video just a couple videos ago where I haunt my house part 1. I make some big frames for some door covers. And I think it's just a simple, easy way to make some fantastic art around your home. If you don't have a lot of money, it's a great way to add a lot of drama. Of course, we have a lot more signage here. And I think these solar or battery powered? Not really sure about those little light up lights. I have to wonder how well those solar lights work. I mean, we've seen them for sale in the Dollar Tree, not just for Halloween, but in general for so long. I don't have enough sunlight to really use solar lights, but I can't imagine they last that long, especially, sometimes we love these products, but, it's $1 and you get what you pay for. So that would be one area of merchandise I'd be a little leery about. I do love the tablecloths, so I will get those. And, if you watch my videos, I do a party inside my garage and I will line the walls using those tablecloths as like drapes. Sometimes I put them around some PVC pipe, and then sometimes I'll just staple them directly to the wall. But if you bunch it up correctly, it looks like proper pipe and draping at a fraction of the price. So we've got a little bit more to explore before the end of this video. I think we are coming to the last couple of end caps here. It's kind of a hodgepodge of merchandise, so I can't really tell what half of that stuff is. I think this one might have a little bit better stuff. I love those little flasks if you're doing some sort of mad scientist, or even just to put around the kitchen. This one's got poison written on it. That's kind of fun. Of course, you got your little pumpkins with stuff on it. But again, love the laboratory-ish sort of look with those things. Here we've got a plastic coffin. Okay. And more poison jars. Very cool. All the different colors you want. Red, black, orange. The candy bottle's a little bit cheap. But then as we make our way down, if you're having a party, you want to have paper plates. I love these. Again, those look classic and beautiful and so much cheaper than we're going to find at the other stores. This platter has a three-dimensional illusion. I mean, it's sunken, the face is sunken in, but it's kind of like that Haunted Mansion illusion of the busts in the library, where even though the faces are sunken in, from your perspective, it looks like they are three-dimensional outwards. But you need to have a bunch of those on a wall. All right, LED shadow projectors, I don't think so. I'm very skeptical that for $1 or $2 you're going to get a good projector that you're actually going to see an image well with. I mean, the other ones you can buy in the stores are, what, $10-20 or so, and they don't even work that well. Hey, look, there's our first ghost holding a Boo banner. You know, some stores have overload of the Boo banners. Not sure we saw any others yet here at the Dollar Tree. Love those little lanterns. Wow, that's a good deal. I paid like $30 for one year when I bought it for my Headless Horseman display. Time for another shameless plug. Be sure to check out my old walkthrough videos. If you're not familiar with my channel, you know, we do all of these store walkthroughs, DIYs, product reviews, but mainly all of that just leads up to my Halloween displays. I change it up inside and out every year, and I can't wait to share that with you. Like I said, we have already started decorating this year. I've got one preview video up. Check it out on the channel. Love these cards, by the way. I'm disappointed. They used to be 50 cents each, and now it's $1. Crazy inflation's affecting us all. Before we go, I did want to say a special thank you to all the patrons who help support the channel. If you're interested in joining my Fright Club, be sure to check out a link to my Patreon page in the description below. That's going to do it for today. I would like to take a moment to ask you to hit that like button if you enjoyed what you saw today, and stay tuned for more product reviews, DIYs, store walkthroughs, and more. If you'd like to help us get to that 100,000 subscriber mark, hit that subscribe button. Till next time, take care and happy haunting.